Okay, guys, we live, baby. Here we are. It's recap time, week 6. And of course, you might have noticed the thumbnail. David Montgomery. Let's start there. David Montgomery smashing the Dallas Cowboys. I predicted to you guys that Jared would leave week 6 a battered husk of a man, a shell of his former self after I beat him in convincing fashion. I beat Jared by 19 and could have been much, much worse. Marvin Harrison Jr. got injured in the first quarter. Hopefully he's okay soon. The extra day might buy me a reprieve there. The fact that he plays Monday night, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the vicious, brutal slaying of Jared's team here. Dak Prescott shit the bed to an unprecedented level, like he went to Taco Bell and had an all-you-can-eat $1 bean burrito buffet before going to bed. It was horrible. Negative 0.34 fantasy points. What that means is if you're watching this video, you would have been better off. Jared would have been better off starting you in fantasy over Dak Prescott. Negative 0.34. Horrible game. One of the worst of Dak's entire career in what should have been a smash spot at home. Shootout with the Lions. The Cowboys didn't get the memo. They scored 9 points, got absolutely mollywopped, pillar to post here, mostly by David Montgomery, because as you know, Jahmyr Gibbs is the clear second fiddle here. He's barely rosterable. But, you know, David Montgomery, he's that dude. I beat Jared. We've seen that story a million times before. You knew what was going to happen. Now, I look at the patriarch versus elder abuse, and man, that was the matchup of the week. Two teams that went over 100 points. It came down to the wire. Garrett Wilson wound up getting this done, I think, midway through the third quarter-ish on Monday night. It was a hell of a matchup. Both teams played really well. Derrick Henry, Joe Mixon, fuck you forever, Joe Mixon. I hate Joe Mixon. That prick he would not practice for me. When he did practice, he wouldn't suit up. He doesn't practice Wednesday, doesn't practice Thursday. I trade him to Jason. All of a sudden, full practice Friday after they say, well, he's not going to play this week. We're going to give him one more week. He plays and he throws up 25 points. So I hate Joe Mixon with the fiery passion of 1,000 suns. I hope all the bad things in the world happen to Joe Mixon and nobody else but Joe Mixon. You know, Jamar Chase had kind of a down week against the Giants. Joe Burrow showing off his wheels, actually 44-yard rushing TD. Joe Burrow didn't do much else, but he managed to outscore Lamar Jackson, who was in a smash spot against Washington. And you got to start to wonder as if Derrick Henry's dominance is going to start limiting Lamar Jackson's fantasy output a little bit. That being said, Senior gets the dub behind huge performances from A.J. Brown and George Kittle and Garrett Wilson. A.J. Brown's an animal. He's a top 5 alpha dog wideout. George Kittle looks like the tight end to own this year. So props to Senior for getting tight end right when nobody else did. George Kittle was the answer. We're all stupid. Senior's a genius for getting George Kittle. This is a potential Super Bowl preview. Jason and Senior have two of the best teams in the league, and it could easily come down to them in the end. Jason didn't get him this time, but next time he plays him, he might have Christian McCaffrey. So, interesting matchup. Congrats to Senior on the dub. Now, another good matchup was shockingly Paul versus Tony Jr. Paul scoring 92.7 and getting the loss. Tough break, Paul. I think we can call the Trey Tucker experiment dead. He put up a 0 spot, 2 targets, 0 catches. Now, you might look at the box score and think Sam Laporta's back. He scored 11.2. Of course, that was on one target that he happened to, it was kind of a gadget trick play where they faked a screen and had him go downfield. I still think Sam Laporta's borderline unplayable, but he had a big play this week. So congrats to that. Najee Harris smashed the Raiders. The Raiders suck. They're going to be just a bad team all year. Sorry, Paul. You guys just traded Devontae Adams. You're going to trade Max Crosby. Life sucks for Raiders fans. Tony finally gets the breakout performance from Bijan Robinson. He smashes the Carolina Panthers. He also got great performances at Jared Goff and Chris Godwin. Kind of wondering what's going on with CD. I think he'll probably get going after the bye. He's one of the best receivers in fantasy, and I expect him to be so rest of year. So, Tony, congratulations on beating the league punching bag, Paul, who is the most confident dude I've ever heard entering this league, only to be in dead last 6 weeks in. And he's just getting beat with a sack of nickels every week. Paul, really no signs of anything letting up there. Now, Steve with 110.2, big game from Steve. He got another long touchdown from Jameson Williams. Jameson Williams is the new Deshaun Jackson, man. You got to play him every week because he could have a 60-plus yard touchdown. Looks like Stephon Diggs is going to be the wide receiver one for as long as Nico's out for the Texans, so he's very good for Steve. Darnell Mooney, a little bit of an anomaly against Carolina, didn't do anything. Breece Hall looked fantastic this week. He looked good for the first time in a long time. That being said, don't love Breece Hall, them getting Davante Adams. As Senior aptly pointed out, they didn't trade for Davante Adams to run the ball more. Now, you can talk about, it's going to open up lanes. You try and paint whatever rosy picture you want to paint when you're trying to trade Breece Hall this week. But the truth is, we all know Aaron Rodgers is going to steal every single touchdown inside the 5. Now he's got Lazard, Garrett Wilson, and Davante Adams. Yeah, they're going full air attack inside the 5 moving forward. So wouldn't expect many touchdowns from Breece Hall. I put the over-under at 5 from this point on. J.K. Dobbins, great outing. Denver sucks. Tracy, great stream against Cincinnati. He's going back to irrelevance, though, this week with Singletary's return. We look at Trey's team. CJ Stroud, solid outing. He kind of got screwed by Travis Etienne, to be honest. Etienne, negative 0.1. Horrible outing. Not much left to say about Trey's team. It's just between him and Paul, who's going to be in last place this year. Now we look at Joe beating Kevin, who is quickly turning into another punching bag in the league. Joe Baker Mayfield looks like a goddamn MVP. He's the number one player in fantasy. I would not have guessed that to this point, but he is. And oddly enough, he's done it against some good defenses. Baker actually has the easier part of his schedule in the back half of the year. So gotta feel great about Baker Mayfield. I don't expect him to finish as the number one QB. I don't even expect him to finish in the top 3. But you'd be an idiot to say Baker isn't a top 5 QB right now. He's an every week must start. Baker is killing it. Mike Evans, however, kind of weird that he did not smash, but he usually struggles against Marshawn Lattimore. I wouldn't read too much into it. DK Metcalf was this close to a huge game. He got just missed on a touchdown. He had a bomb touchdown called back by penalty. Wouldn't worry about DK either. Who I would worry about is Jordan Mason. He has a hurt shoulder. McCaffrey will be back in week 10. So that means best case scenario, you got Jordan Mason this week against Kansas City, which is a really brutal matchup. And then next week against Dallas. And then Mason goes to unplayable. I don't know why you keep benching Chase Brown. Play Chase Brown, man. I'm playing you next week. You better have Chase Brown in your lineup, dude. So congratulations to Joe. Cole Kmet, tight end stream of the week. 19 fantasy points. Cole Kmet is just a good tight end. He's just good. He finishes in the top 10 every year. We never view him that way. So congratulations, Joe, on picking up a good tight end. There's your matchup recaps. I will see you on Thursday for the matchup previews. So long, suckers.